My name is Edward Sapiano, and I'm a lawyer. When I graduated from law school 13 years ago, I thought I had paid my dues, but the hardest part was still to come.
We're going to watch 4 aspiring lawyers in a 12-month test by fire called articling. Will they crash and burn, or be transformed into the real thing? Quinn Ross is incredibly driven. But instead of big money law firms, he's opted for quality of life. He's chosen to live and work with his parents in a rural law firm.
I don't want to look like an ass in front of my parents' colleagues.
But Quinn loves a challenge.
It's wartime, it's go time.
Can a small town serve Quinn's ambitions? Or will his goals change? Aisha Chaudry is a recent immigrant with 2 preschool children. She lives with her husband's extended family.
I'm misbehaving. Who is Tom?
Working at a legal aid clinic with disadvantaged people in crisis is more than just a job.
It's a reflection of my faith.
But can she juggle home and work?
What I want to do is just rest.
Or will she be forced to make a choice? Bill Thompson is a sweet middle-class idealist from the suburbs who's committed to defending the underdog.
Important kind of situation to try to defend the little guy.
Articling at one of Canada's top criminal law firms, he's about to enter a whole other world.
This is where the rubber hits the road.
Will his lofty principles survive the year?
I haven't become an alcoholic or anything like that yet.
Christine Wiseman is insecure but ambitious. She's the only professional in her working-class family. Now she's articling at a corporate law firm, but she's terrified the law's not for her.
I don't want to do it.
Her fiancé Kevin is in for a rough ride.
But Kevin!
If she quits, 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears go down the drain. In this episode of Almost Legal, Quinn's ambition drives him to pursue corporate clients.
I didn't know I'd be interested in business until I came to the practice and realized that it was a business.
And Bill gets involved in a worthwhile but risky venture, one that could put his future in serious jeopardy.
I have to weigh the potential effects on my life.
Articling at a Toronto criminal law firm, Bill does a lot of his work behind bars. The only place he could see some of his clients before trial is in jail.
I can certainly sympathize with the people that find themselves there. It's a very, well, depressing place, I'd say. I mean, for the most part, they're people that haven't actually been found guilty of anything yet. Once you pass through the initial security checkpoint, then you're just kind of left on your own to find your way to the right range. It's a very difficult place to be. Lots of bars and lots of concrete. And hearing the doors, clanking behind you, is it's also not a real comfortable experience.
Bill's a far cry from the suburbs where he grew up. A teacher and a stay-at-home mom, Bill's parents have a hard time with their son's new life.
We were talking on the weekend about going to the various jails, and he's dealing with a different clientele, a different type of people than he's ever dealt with in his life before. So it's all, people with street names and things like that.
No electric chair cases today, but I did get a guy able to move back into this family.
He's still new enough to the business of being a criminal lawyer that everybody's innocent. Having been in teaching for so many years, I'm not quite as forgiving as he is, and sometimes I'm thinking, just throw the book at them.
And a lot of the cases that we deal with are teachers that have gotten in trouble with the law, and so I think that maybe those ones are ones that you can be a little more sympathetic.
I don't think you can be in criminal law and not have to face that dilemma of, do you fight hard for a person that you know is guilty? And only time will tell whether he can handle that one or not.
Idealistic notions of justice and equality attracted Quinn to the law. But now he'd like to reinvent himself and become a corporate player.
Commercial law interests me because you're involved in someone's vision for their business, and they want you out ahead of the venture looking for the icebergs. I didn't know I'd be interested in business until I came to the practice and realized that it was a business. Good, how you doing? Good. Hi, Quinn. Nice to meet you.
Quinn wants to fit in with the suits, but stand out in a crowd. After all, he's still a rebel.
I like sort of funky. Just barely conservative enough that you can come in under the radar if you dress it right, but if you want to flash it up and go out with it, that it works.
Younger image, kind of hipper style.
Feels nice to wear. Really nice. This is the part I hate. The decision.
Well, one of each is fine.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Talk to my wife. I've decided.
Wanna do that?
Yeah. It won't be like anything I see on any of the other people who do what I do where I do it. And that's very important to me.
Any family members in the business?
My mom, myself, my father.
Who's better lawyer, your mom or your dad?
My mom. But I'm the best.
Well, I should have thought about that.
Bill has to make a decision about more than a high-priced suit. His senior partner, Mel Green, has asked him to get guns off the street. He wants Bill to transport an illegal weapon.
I spoke to Bill about it, and I was pleased that Bill clearly was interested in the cause, and I was equally pleased that, that Bill was concerned about the lawfulness of the program.
Mel and I started this program in response to escalating gun violence in Toronto. We set up a hotline. People call us, we pick up the guns, no questions asked.
There's a risk, of course, with a project of this sort that something could go awry. Some overzealous police officer might take it upon himself to make it go awry.
An obscure law allows lawyers to deliver contraband to police, but not every police officer knows that. Bill's got a lot to think about. Possession of an illegal weapon carries a minimum sentence of a year in prison.
I have to weigh the potential effects on my life.
4 young lawyers, 12 months, in a test by fire called articling. Quinn turned his back on the big city to work for his parents in a small town practice. But now he wants to be a big fish in a small pond.
But I'm the best.
Bill chose criminal law to fight for the underdog. He's articling with Canada's top defense lawyers. Never in his wildest dreams did he think he'd be transporting illegal weapons with me.
Even being in the car with a person who has a handgun and you know that it's there is an offense.
Quinn's newfound interest in commercial law means schmoozing with corporate clients. He's riding out to meet the owner of a paintball game park.
Good to see you. You too. Fantastic. This place is amazing. Yeah. So,
I saw you pull up on a nice bike out there. What's going on with that?
it's a joint venture. My dad and I got the bike, and I drive it, and so far he's just been paying for it. But he'll get his time too, yeah. So what are we talking about today?
Number of things.
Okay.
We've got some products that we want to release. We're coming up with. We're going to talk about patents. I'm not a big fan of patents, and patents are a lot of money.
It's a highly technical process too. Now, you have some products that you want to patent. Are you patenting the product, the way the product works, or the method of manufacturing the product? And you may be yes to all three.
Business law is complicated. One wrong move can cost your client big money. Quinn's at the bottom of a steep learning curve.
I'd need to review sort of the patent law area and maybe talk to someone who does a little bit more than I do.
So what else?
I can't think of anything. I know what you need now, and I can give you copious amounts of general to bring you up to speed so that no one's going to take advantage of you.
Now on to the schmoozing. Who would have thought corporate law would be this dangerous?
These are amazing. Wow. Whoa! Don't shoot your own foot. No, try not to.
I know Bill's decision to help get illegal guns off the street was tough on him.
Edward, go.
But tonight he's got to walk the talk.
Hey Edward, how's it going?
Terrific. Good to see you. Good to see you.
I don't think any of the lawyers that are involved in this program have firearm acquisition certificates or proper licenses, those kinds of things, to possess these guns.
Happy Hanukkah. We've got to be there by a certain time, and we've got the trigger locks, you know, to render them safe. So we're just going to go get the firearm from this gentleman, and I've already got the police lined up.
They know what's going on, basically. It's not just randomly showing up and...
Precisely. We don't want to be stopped and arrested and charged with possession of firearms. I mean, the law is on our side. We are allowed to possess firearms for the sole purpose of surrendering them to the police, and that's not criminal possession.
Yeah.
It's a rather esoteric law. I can assure you the police and even the Attorney General was surprised to learn of it. But I found that it's there, and we're going to use it to make Toronto a safer city.
As criminal lawyers, we see the effects of gun violence every day. Quinn's in a whole other world, representing a corporate client who makes playing with toy guns a fun business.
Oh, last one, not that bad.
Ooh, that one hurt.
Getting shot with a paintball can be fun, but when the bullets are real, it's no laughing matter.
It was the 11-year-old girl who got shot just a couple of weeks ago. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I approached the authorities in no uncertain terms. They told me to sit on my hands and do nothing. I figured we can no longer do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, here we are, intelligent individuals. We have a plan. We can make it work. And it's working. So in 14 days, we've got 11 guns off the street.
Armed with just an empty gun case, Bill and I are here to pick up a rifle from someone who wants to get rid of it, no questions asked. Let's hope everything goes smoothly, because I can assure you, this gun is not loaded with paintballs.
Oh, fuck, that hurts. I gotta have at least a couple shots when I scream and run into the face of death. This is unbelievable. Yeah. It looks amazing.
Undaunted by his defeat, Quinn's instincts for business kick in.
Expensive though. Paint.
It's actually not that bad.
No?
Like if you're on a sponsor team, you don't pay for nothing.
Quinn's meeting is a success. So was ours. We got the gun no problem.
Now it's off to meet the Guns and Gangs unit.
Yeah. Now, would that guy be typical of the people that you've been dealing with so far? I think he said that he'd inherited it from his uncle, right?
Yeah, that's right. We don't expect to get firearms from your, 22-year-old gun-toting punks. So did you enjoy that, the first gun run?
Yeah. I think that it was a lot more organized and formal than I had expected. I mean, I think it seems like it's a very well-run program.
So congratulations on your first gun run.
This is the only time police are happy to see a defense lawyer.
Let me know if there are other ones that I can help you with.
Absolutely, the more the better.
Okay.
Quinn has big dreams for the family firm, but first he has to bring his partners into the 21st century.
Because I'm the one fixing it and you're the one breaking it.
4 young lawyers, 12 months, in a test by fire called articling. Bill's a sweet kid from the suburbs, but he's getting a taste of the seedy side of life articling at a criminal law firm in Toronto.
And he's dealing with a different clientele, people with street names and things like that.
Will he be able to stick with it? Quinn's returned home to rural Ontario to article at his parents' law firm. He thinks he's chosen quality of life over the rat race of the big city, but it hasn't quite worked out as planned.
Oh, God, what have I got myself into?
It's tough when your bosses are your parents. Boundaries are always an issue.
No one has a solid island to stand on to draw the line to demarcate. They just don't.
And try troubleshooting from the other side of the generation gap.
Oh yeah, can you get that to work? It's the same problem as before, Quinn.
I can't even be certain that I'm separating them when I think I am. Sometimes maybe I'm being petulant when I think I'm being bona fide. It happens more with Dad because I spend more time with him. And that sometimes I can be really impatient with him because he does things differently.
I have to turn it on and off.
I don't think that should be allowed anymore. I think you should just leave it on.
Can we do that? Just leave it on?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay. Don't turn it off anymore, Paul.
Exactly the same response as before.
The computer is not responding.
Yeah, it is. It worked perfectly. Trust me. I had it up and running yesterday.
Okay.
Quinn is a little frustrated. I just laughed.
Because I'm the one fixing it and you're the one breaking it. You never ever say some of the things that I say to my poor old man to your boss, because they just say, oh, you're fired.
Yeah, there's a problem, actually, because the mouse is not responding. No, it is.
Oh, that one is.
Oh, perfect. Can you stop? Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough, because some stuff, you know your parents, some things they do are of a different time, and it's not better or worse, but it's different, and it can be frustrating. There we go.
Ah, brilliant.
Good then.
Bill has pulled off his first gun run, and now he has his sights set on a permanent position at SGM where he's articling.
If there's the opportunity to stay, I'd certainly like to. I think that it's an excellent place to begin to start your career and to learn how to be a good lawyer.
Dream on. This happens to be one of the most prestigious criminal defense firms in the country. They hardly ever hire young, inexperienced lawyers.
There's a little stiffness in him at times, a little formality.
We have to make an assessment of what the work stream is going to look like over the next year or so.
SGM hasn't rehired an articling student in 5 years. Bill's battling the odds.
Bye.
For Quinn, the job is 24/7. That's what happens when you work for your parents and live in their basement.
The only time that my parents cramp my style in any way isn't their fault. It's because I haven't seen my wife in 2 days, and I want just to spend some time with her, and you're living in a family home, and that doesn't necessarily lend itself to people just sequestering themselves in one room and not engaging in the family. It's not a hotel.
This is a pretty gorgeous cake you baked there, Quinn.
Yeah.
A sponge cake from scratch?
Pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
I think it's been far harder on Quinn than it's been on me and Paul. We're older. Invasions of our privacy isn't nearly as profound as on a young man. I know that my daughter-in-law, for her it's easier, but we're not her parents. And I think whenever you move home for extended periods, you tend to lose a bit of your identity as an adult when you're back with your parents. I think that's true for all of us, regardless of our ages. We're always someone's child.
That looks amazing.
It doesn't bother me because I see them maybe 2 hours maximum an evening. So there's no problems. But Quinn feels that, you know, it's just 24 hours a day of his job.
This might have been a romantic dinner without the parental units.
Come have a seat,
Dinner
pal.
served, folks.
All newlyweds need time alone.
Don't move into your parents' basement.
It's my policy to help young lawyers starting out.
Maybe if we get you using the F word a couple of times.
4 young lawyers, 12 months, in a test by fire called articling. Quinn's returned home to live and work with his parents. Not ideal for a newlywed. He's ready to move out, but his champagne tastes don't match his beer budget.
You know, I'm past the living in a hovel stage.
Bill would really like to be offered a permanent job with one of Canada's top criminal law firms, but he may not have what it takes. Quinn's decided to cut the apron strings. He and Erin are about to move out of his parents' house.
I know it may not be practical, but I love the city. Plus, I'm really interested in getting back into the bar scene in a big way.
But first they have to find a new place.
Hey, dead pigeons. I forgot what it was like to look for places. It's weird. You always feel like you're invading. And when I was the person who they were showing, I always felt invaded. So I mean, it's legitimate. No one really likes the process.
Quinn and Erin are on a tight budget. What they want and what they can afford are 2 different things.
That place would definitely not meet the minimum criteria for me. I mean, I wouldn't even consider that place. I would be looking for something larger and more modern.
I've got a really nice 3-bedroom in an apartment.
Those condos?
Yeah.
You've got one of those?
Yeah.
Well, we should go see that.
It's $11.85. That's why I didn't show it to you guys, because you were like $1,000.
Well, I mean,
1,000. It's a 3.
11, you think it's too much? You know, I'm past the living in a hovel stage. So I'd love to take a look at that place, yeah.
Getting started in your career isn't easy.
Hey, Edward. How's it going?
It's always been my policy to help young lawyers, and Bill has certainly proven himself.
So what about your articles? How have they been going?
Great. It's been been really interesting. I mean, I've really enjoyed working with Frank and with Mel.
Yeah. Oh, of course. What about your future in terms of at that office? Have they given any indication about whether they're going to rehire, or do they rehire, or what?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't the last couple of years, so I think there's a reasonable chance, but it hasn't actually been decided yet. Yeah. So
you write your own ticket. You make it happen yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, generating not just billing hours, but generating revenue.
Yeah.
And when you start doing that, then as I say, you write your own ticket. Are you putting in knocking on any other doors?
Well, I haven't really started yet because I don't actually know what my position is yet. I'd rather know one way or the other what my status is going to be, with SAC Goldbot before I start.
If you are at any point out on your own, you make sure you give me a call. I wouldn't mind getting you on maybe one of my murders or something to help prepare them.
Sure.
I don't know how comfortable my clients would be with you yet. Maybe if we get you using the F word a couple of times during some of the interviews with some of my clients, they'd feel more comfortable with it.
You okay with the tea? Some more? Or?
It was wonderful, Giuseppe. Thank you. We'll take the bill, please.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Giuseppe.
Yeah.
Cheers. It's going to work out just fine for you now. I have no doubt. I could, sense talent. Absolute pleasure, my friend.
Yep. Have a good day.
Okay.
All right. See you later, Edward.
Thank you very much, Giuseppe. See you, Bill.
Christine gets cheated out of her first court battle.
I wanted a little bit of a fight.
And Aisha prepares for her first tribunal, a Mexican seeking refugee status. The odds aren't good.
There's no mention of being threatened with a gun. I think you just made it up to make your case better.